What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. And you can never force nobody else to wear them.
I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out, and I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. Messed up and out of touch, let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. I forgot to set up my tablet. How dare I? Let me get it turned on real quick. It does help me switch screens much easier. Ah, fun times, fun times. Let me grab a charge cable here. It's not that low, but... And I normally, when I do the show, that's my charge session. I charge my watch. My nighttime e-cigs. I make sure that those are good and charged up for the Betty Bye time. And I'm behind on my routine, apparently. So anyway, got that all squared away. Hope everyone is doing well. I got a headache, and I don't know what the deal is. Normally, the only time, and it's rare that I get headaches, normally it's like because my neck's out. And I don't think my neck's out. I got a spot in my back that's out. That could be it, but it doesn't feel like that kind of a headache, so I don't know. I also, today, drank about 4 or 5 small bottles of, well, the little instant drink mix things, right? Like Skittles has some, Hawaiian Punch has some, the little powdered drink mix things. And I do know that they have artificial sweeteners in there. So there's a fairly good chance that's what did my head in. So anyway, not that big of a deal. I am going to just kind of roll through the news though and get the heck out of here. Tired. I couldn't. My back tears me up. I had hell getting to sleep last night. I actually had to come out to the living room on the futon because. Well, it's a futon. It's a cheap futon, and it's like any other futon. The butt of it or whatever, the seat of it, kind of curves around, and I can lie my back or my chest, depending whether I'm having problems with my sternum or my spine, across that hump, and it will relieve the pressure enough that I can fall asleep. And typically when I get up in the morning, I feel a hell of a lot better. So, had to do that last night. Hopefully don't have to do that again tonight. Right now it feels okay, but I don't know it until I lay down. That's when I hurt, is when I actually lay down. So, anyway, enough of my bitching and whining and moaning. Lot of craziness in the news as usual. And, guess we'll just get right on it, get it out of the way, so I can be a little bitch and lay down. So anyway, at least I'm straight and honest with you, right? That's the thing that I don't understand about other content creators. Why do we have to put on some kind of a fake show? I mean, I get it. They're the ones getting all the subscribers. They're the ones getting all the video. I mean, I get it. But you're robbing yourself, you're robbing your viewers and anyone in between because it's fake, you know? It's just fake. And I know I come out against certain creators, but certain creators shouldn't be making the statements and nonsense that they do, especially when they're lying through their teeth, right? Bear cracks me up, and that's why in a bad way. And that's why I come at him full force. And I won't bat an eye. And why won't I bat an eye? Because I know who I work for. I'm not trying to bullshit anybody. I know who I work for. I'm not the one going out there giving you all these little bits of scripture, you know. He who you can trust a little or whatever you can trust a lot. Dude, you can't even trust that dude to tell the truth on the news. So, I mean, if you can't even trust him that much to not fabricate bullshit to tell people, then how the hell can you trust him with a human trafficking restoration. You know what I'm saying? I don't buy none of that bullshit for a second, man. That's the new buzzword for getting people to open their wallets, is what that is. And it is what it is. And he can make all the comments, he can make all the threats about how people can FAFO. I'm FAFOing, bitch. I'm FAFOing. Do something. Do something, Bear. TJ. I dare you. I frickin' dare you. Because I know who I work for. And I know how much you lie. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. You want to talk shit? Let's not talk shit. Let's do shit. Let's do shit. Okay, I think I'm done. Anyway, howdy, Kevin. Howdy. It is what it is, you know? Little bitches will be little bitches. I'm just me. I am just me. So anyway, got some craziness in the news, as if what I reported on earlier wasn't crazy, right? For those that didn't see it, and I didn't share out that news article per se, but let's see here. What was it? San Francisco. I put out a video earlier. So apparently they're going to start drug testing people. Now, this isn't just like the entire state of California, you know, people that receive benefits from the state. No, this is just people that receive benefits from San Francisco. It's their own little internal, what do they call it? Universal basic income or whatever it is. And so their new policy is anybody that's receiving that has to take a drug test. Anyone that fails the drug test, or well, if you refuse the drug test, then you get kicked off of their program. If you fail the drug test, then you have to go to a drug treatment program. However, it plainly states that you will not be kicked off their little basic income program as long as you continue to take the drug test and, if need be, continue to go seek treatment, right? It's a bullshit game. Because what it is, okay, there's been all kinds of nonsense. Like, for instance, in a lot of states, if a married couple, decides to get a divorce, part of the whole process is they have to go and some kind of counseling or another, right? All of that is just to funnel money into certain industries. And it's the same with the San Francisco thing. All the way back, all the way going to when drug testing started to be mandated for jobs. That was nothing more than putting money in the pockets of the manufacturers of the drug test kits. That's what that was about. It wasn't about a safer workplace. No. Wasn't at that, and wasn't about that at all. The other thing it was for is a get off the hook clause for insurance companies. So in other words, you could be working somewhere and there be an accident that you had nothing to do with causing. You were just the victim of the accident. Let's say you had nothing to do with why the accident happened. Well, in many cases, you would still need to go get a drug test because you were involved with a workplace injury. So if you come back and you piss dirty, then guess what? You're screwed. Okay? And even if you had nothing to do with why the accident happened. So it's all just nothing but a bullshit game. And that's why the biggest reason why I'm against any type of mandatory drug testing. Because it's all a big fucking game, pardon the language, for people to get out of honoring their supposed commitment, right? Because I'm sorry, if you weren't responsible for an accident that you got injured in, what the hell does it matter if you got a little weed in your system? It shouldn't, but it does. So anyway, and as Ben Time Traveler was pointing out, the actual citizens of the United States, the citizens of San Francisco, they get threatened with getting cut off from getting their benefits. But what about the illegal immigrants? What about them? Hell, they're given credit cards, nice hotel rooms, and even an opportunity to be a police officer in some states, including Illinois. And it's frickin' ridiculous. So frickin' ridiculous. Yeah, and if you're, like Kevin said, if you're coming over the border with a disease, hell, you're invited then. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So anyway, let me kick on over to here, talk about a little more craziness going on. Biden considers sending U.S. Army's money to Ukraine, says Bloomberg. U.S. government is considering tapping into the U.S. Army budget in order to provide Ukraine with much needed additional military aid, Bloomberg reported on Wednesday, citing people familiar with the matter. One of the sources told the news agency that a final decision has not been made yet. The sum reportedly sought by the White House and the Pentagon reserves, around $200 million, is a small fraction of the $61 billion worth of Ukraine aid President Biden has requested from Congress. Pissed off about what I was saying about San Francisco, or what, Kevin? Let's see. The President will once again urge legislators to approve new assistance for Kiev during a State of the Union address on Thursday, Bloomberg said. The Senate backed the aid package last month, but it is now stalled in the House due to bitter political infighting. House Republicans have so far refused to back Biden's bill, hoping to pressure the president into enacting tougher measures to deal with the influx of illegal migrants crossing the border with Mexico. The holdup in Congress is occurring at a crucial time for Ukraine, whose troops were forced to retreat from several key positions in the Donbass in recent weeks. President Vladimir Zelensky and other officials in Kiev have cited these shortages in ammunition and other equipment as reasons behind the losses on the battlefield. So, one way or another, dude, they're going to send it over there. Whether it's coming out of our own military reserves like this, or whether it's voted to go over there. I don't have any answers, because all the answers that I have would probably result in, me just saying it would result in getting locked up. But, those would be the answers to what we need to do. Enough with the games. They get us so damn scared to speak up and to speak out. Enough with the games. We just need to put an end to it. Plain and simple. Just put an end to it. Problem is, they got so many people convinced that there are so few of us, which is untrue. And they got so many people convinced that, even if there were millions of us, then we're still not capable, right? We're still just peasants, that we're not capable of being able to take back control of this country. And that's just not true. That is just not true. I think it's funny, actually, when people like Biden make comments about, well, how would the American people rise up? You need F-15s and blah, blah, blah. Well, seems to be that there are a bunch of folks in sandals that live in caves, and I'm saying that loosely, that kicked the shit out of us and sent us with our tail between our legs running out of their country. So, I don't think that the American people would have a much harder time in dealing with it. So, Well, yeah, and Kevin, hopefully this thing's working tonight. Abso-frickin-lutely, brother. That's one way that people could actually do it. But the only problem is you'd actually have to convince enough people to do it that it would make a difference. And so many people are so scared of their own damn shadow. The other thing is, people in the United States, they, and myself included, I'm not putting myself out of this group at all because I can't. We're pampered, to be real honest. And we're so used to conveniences, and we're so used to just our way of life. And so a lot of people sacrifice just isn't something that they're willing to do. And now me, on the other hand, that's where I'm different. I don't give a shit. I done lost the most important things to me to begin with. What more do I stand to lose that is going to cause me to lose my mind? I mean, my children were ripped away from me with absolutely no chance for any kind of a recourse. No chance at all. I pretty much sacrificed the worst sacrifice that I can at this point, aside from my life or my freedom. And they got the chance, they would damn well take my freedom, and they'd probably be more than happy to take my life. Why? Because I'm not going to sit there and bow down to them. Not now, not ever. I'm not going to play with them. I'm not going to deal with them. I'm not going to... Nothing. I'm done. The way I see it, when I was born in 1972, I was born under a contract. That contract was the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights. They have violated that contract on so many occasions that it is now null and void. So until they want to discuss that, until they want to restore the things that are rightfully mine, including my children, they can go get fucked. Pardon the language, but they can go get fucked. And that's from the top to the bottom. They breached the contract, and I ain't interested in even talking to them. That's where I stand. That's where I stand. That's why I have the attitude that I do. When you take a man's children and you have the entire system set up to where there ain't a damn thing they can do it, as long as the woman plays their game, as long as the mother plays their game, that's about the worst thing you can do. And then you want to, in turn, try to force that father to pay for the bullshit. No. And then you get dumb shits like T.J. Morris that want to call deadbeat dads a bunch of scumbags. Really. It would be one thing if a man was allowed to have their children in their life. But it's a whole different thing when they're not. And it used to be that if the children weren't in the father's life, they didn't make the they didn't even go after the dad. So they need to fucking pick one. They either need to let me have my children in my life and I'll happily pay whatever frickin' fee, the bullshit they come up with, even though they're not supposed to go over a certain amount, but they do anyway. Or leave me the fuck alone. There is no negotiate. I don't negotiate with terrorists, and that's exactly what the United States government is. No two ways about it. No two ways about it. And that's why I speak out against people like Bear. Because he ain't nothing but a little bitch that lays down for the system and plays for the system in every way that they ask him. Fuck him. I'm not in the mood to play with pussies. And that's all I see him as. If he can't come on YouTube and be honest with people, completely honest with people. If he's got to fabricate and make shit up to keep people's attention, to keep them clicking on his videos, he ain't nothing but a little bitch. Sorry, not sorry. And it's frustrating because there's people that come to YouTube every day to learn, whether it be learn what's going on in the world, learn about preparedness. And the last thing they need is a bunch of frickin' liars and profiteers. False prophets. Heretics. It's the last thing that people need. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Sorry. It's really frustrating. And he wants to come out on YouTube and fuck around and find out. Bitch, I'm ready. I am ready. I'll say it again. I know who I work for. I know who I work for. I know what times that I've been put on this earth for. Why would I be afraid? Anyway, continuing on. Oh, I hear you, brother. I'm only 51. I'm good. I am good. Goes to what I was saying in the other video. If you're liking this world, if you're all walking around, smiles on your face because everything's great, there's a damn good chance that you aren't living by the rules of the Father. Damn good chance of it. Says it right in the good book. I don't understand how people miss that kind of stuff. It makes no sense to me. Oh, but we're the exception somehow. Nah. You're the bullshit. That's what it is. Sorry. Said I'd get off my soapbox and I'm still on it, right? It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Anyway, continuing. Washington stands by battlefield surprises for Moscow remark. Says Washington believes that Kiev will produce some nice surprises on the battlefield for Russia, U.S. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said at a press briefing on Tuesday. The phrase was used by outgoing Undersecretary Victoria Nuland during a trip to Kiev in January, expressing confidence in the capabilities of the Ukrainian army. Russia has since pushed it out of the strategically important city of Avdiivka in Donbass and has continued to advance, according to reports from the front line. Miller was asked whether the U.S. government shares his sentiment more than a month after it was expressed by Nuland. We believe that Ukraine has a plan that they can execute to achieve victories on the battlefield, he replied. The spokesman cited Ukrainian claims that it sank a Russian patrol ship in the Black Sea this week as an example of Kiev's successes. The Russian Defense Ministry has not commented on the reports. This week, Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced Nuland's pending departure from her post. He thanked his aide for having shaped Washington's policy on Ukraine and Russia for many years. Nuland is largely perceived in Russia as the midwife of the 2014 maiden coup in Kiev, which paved the way for the current Ukraine conflict. Commenting on her trip to the country this year, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov remarked that as a rule, these types of visits do not bring anything good. Well, no, you know? Let's see, what's, I'm reading there, Veronica. Well, I don't, I can't speak to that person, not whatsoever. I can only speak on my case, and yeah, and it's not that easy when. Yeah. Again, I don't know about your case, but I know here in the state of Illinois that men don't have attorneys given to them. The women do, but the men do not. They're just left on the hook. The state takes full care of the female, everything. Everything. They take care of everything. So, and the only way that is not the case in the state of Illinois is if the mother is so screwed up, and I mean it's got to be completely from top to bottom screwed up. It's the only way that the guy's got a chance. Yeah, it's not that way here. So, all I can do is speak to my case. That's all I can do. And I've been around for a little while, too. So, I'm just going to say that. I've been around for a little while. I'm not naive. That's about the nicest way I can put it. A nuclear accident is still possible at Europe's largest plant, says the IAEA boss to RT. Now, the original headline said something about them warning Zelensky about nuclear accidents in the countries. Or, I mean, well, yeah, in their country. But says the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, has warned that an accident at Europe's largest nuclear plant remains a live possibility. He was speaking after holding talks in Sochi with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Wednesday. The situation around the facility in Zaporozhye region has evolved in recent months, Grossi told RT in an exclusive interview. However, dangers exist as long as the hostilities between Moscow and Kiev continue. Grossi said the agency has well established itself at the plant, which is now dormant, unlike during the early stages of the conflict when the facility suffered direct hits. Nevertheless, the IAEA chief refrained from describing the situation as improved, stating that the conditions could change at any moment due to active fighting in its relative vicinity. Asked whether he had warned Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky about the potential consequences of launching an attack on the plant, Grossi replied that he remains in touch with all parties to the conflict. I think everybody is aware of what is at stake here. My function here is to continuously draw the attention of everyone about what is at risk. In a war situation, the unexpected may happen, he said, and I can assure you that I am very clear when I speak to everybody about this, so I am confident that they are hearing us. So, and then goes into the history of what's going on with the plant. So, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. I'm drinking, funny thing, I'm drinking 100% Colombian coffee tonight. And it's from, well, just, it's from December. This was put in there in December. And it's weird because it's like I almost taste a little bit of that weird taste like I do with the other coffee, even though I know this is fresh coffee. And, the other coffee's got just a little bit of an off taste. And I just figured, because it's been in there for like almost 4 years and in a plastic canister, So I thought, well, I'll try some of the 100% Colombian. And it's funny because I swear I still taste that. But I also taste my Colombian, and I love it. Oh, man. Oh, thank you, Veronica. I'm hoping I can. Houthis strike U.S.-owned ship, killing 2. So they're starting to make their hits count. 8 people were injured, 2 of them fatally, when Yemeni missiles struck the merchant vessel True Confidence in the Gulf of Aden, the U.S. military said on Wednesday. The crew had to abandon ship, which is at risk of sinking. The Houthis, styling themselves the government of Yemen, began targeting Israeli-linked ships in late October, protesting the military operation against the Palestinians in Gaza. They added American and British ships in January after the 2 countries launched air-to-missile strikes against Yemen. Houthi military spokesman Yahya Saree confirmed the attack on Wednesday evening, saying that the True Confidence was struck after the ship's crew ignored the Yemeni naval force's warning messages. The strike was precise by the grace of Allah, leading to a fire outbreak on board, Suri said. He also warned all ships to respond to the calls of the Yemeni naval forces, and all crews of the targeted ships must quickly depart after the first strike. 2 members of the True Confidence crew were killed and 6 injured in multiple missile strikes, according to 2 Pentagon officials who spoke to the press on condition of anonymity. There were no Americans on board, they said. Hang on, I think that was one of the goofy groups I'm in. Yeah. Well, I say I'm in. I get added to these pages, I guess chats or whatever of these Facebook groups. And it's annoying as hell because I get added into there. And then, I just got to leave, that's all, but it's annoying. Anyway. An Indian warship that was nearby took in 23 new crew. I'll get it out. Let me try it again. An Indian warship that was nearby took in the 23 crew members who evacuated the cargo vessel. U.S. officials described the True Confidence as damaged but has not yet sunk. Or not sunk yet. Same thing. Maritime tracking showed the True Confidence on approach to the Bab el-Mandeb Strait on Tuesday evening before making a sharp turn back towards the Gulf of Aden. The vessel was registered in Liberia, which is a popular flag of convenience for merchant ships, but the owner has been reported as the U.S.-based multinational Oak Tree Capital Management, LLC. So, they're getting better with their shots, and it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before they really start, leaving their mark. And I have a feeling that as time goes on, they're going to be given better and better methods and means to be able to do this. And so I think that's going to make a considerable difference. Right now, I don't think they're really giving anything really special. I have a feeling that's going to change soon enough. Farmers clash with police in Warsaw. It says protesting farmers clashed with police in Poland's capital Warsaw on Wednesday amid the ongoing row with Ukraine over the grain trade. Farmers and their supporters gathered outside the Prime Minister's office and marched towards the Parliament building, where they were met by riot police. The protesters threw rocks and firecrackers at the officers, who responded with pepper spray, tear gas, and stun grenades. Sporadic fights broke out, with police using batons to push back the angry farmers. Interior Minister Marcin Kierwiński said that 23 provocateurs have been detained on Wednesday. A total of 13 officers were injured, including an officer who suffered a serious head trauma, Warsaw police wrote on X. Around 30,000 people took part in the protest, according to City Hall spokeswoman Monica Booth. Inspector Robert Suzmiata says that although the protest was initially overwhelmingly peaceful, there were groups of people who only sought to confront the police. The farmers came out to denounce the EU's Green Deal laws aimed at mitigating the effects of climate change. These are absurd regulations that farmers must conform to, which will only make the situation worse and raise production costs and product prices, a protester told AFP. Polish farmers have also been blocking the entry points at the border with Ukraine, arguing that the imports of cheap grain and other produce are killing their businesses. Kiev is denying that Ukrainian grain is being sold in Poland, but has slammed the protesters for hurting the Ukrainian economy during its ongoing armed conflict with Russia. The blockades had gone beyond both economics and morality long ago, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said on Sunday. Ukrainian officials have also claimed that Russia was somehow influencing the protesters in order to damage Kiev's ties with Poland. Moscow has denied any involvement. They're not involved in that. You know, all the finger pointing and all that is so ridiculous. And the most ridiculous part of it is it's the taxpayers of these countries that has propped up Ukraine thus far. And then they have the nerve to speak out against the very people's money, the very people that they're operating off the backs of. I don't know. I personally think that every country just needs to back out and let happen what happens. I mean, it is what it is. The more I learn about the Ukraine and their leadership, the less I like them. All right, let's do some headlines and boogie on out. Multiple Ukrainian drone attacks reported across Russia. NATO member state opposes Biden's pick bid to lead bloc. Russian communists call for probe into Western involvement in Stalin's death. Pentagon claims economic bonanza from arming Ukraine. No kidding. For you guys, that is. U.S. lawmakers want to ban TikTok. ICC arrest warrant for Russian commanders is invalid, says Kremlin. Kiev ready to accept EU restrictions on food imports, says Financial Times. World hit by internet outages. I covered that this morning. Russian spies are innovating, says Financial Times. British commandos investigated over war crimes in Syria, says media. Doritos fires new transgender brand partner. I didn't even know they had one. Let's see. France names main threat to Olympics. Another Abrams tank destroyed in Donbass, says Ministry of Defense. Zelensky's wife snubs Biden, says Washington Post. A drastic welfare cut expected for Ukrainians living in EU states, says media. Trump best hope for Ukraine peace, says NATO states FM, foreign minister. Moscow exchange reports record activity by private investors. German government party wants less generosity for Ukrainians. EU armies not necessary, says Burrell. Trump reportedly meets with Musk amid fundraising push. And I've heard every outlet say that Musk's not going to give him a dime. German MP calls for attack on government buildings in Moscow. Kremlin clarifies stance on nuclear weapons use. Trump rival quits race, Nikki Haley. I'm surprised she hung in there that long, really. Washington stands by remark on battlefield surprises for Moscow. China to test waters on Ukraine peace, says SCMP. Russia a role model for Global South, says Indonesian delegate. Moscow warns European countries against hosting U.S. nukes. UN nuclear watchdog warns Zelensky against attacks on Zaporozhye plant. Actually, I read that article. That was the original headline that it said. Ukraine arrests priest for branding Azov's the military group Nazis, which they are. All of Russia is now your friend, Putin tells participants of World Youth Festival. NATO applicant suspends landmark arms control deal. 2 Hamas fighters connected to October 7th attack killed, says IDF. Let's see. Germany hits out an ex-UK defense secretary. Security of nuclear sites a priority for Moscow, says Putin. Covered that and that and that. Oh, wow. Ukraine plans new counteroffensive, says ground forces commander. So, fun times. Is that a Porsche or a Porsche? It depends if you own one. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here so I can lay down and relax. I think we got some crazy times coming. I don't know how close, how far, but man, this country can't keep going on in any of the ways that it's going. And I don't even necessarily think that if someone even halfway decent gets in office that it's going to make much of a difference. I mean, we're decades into a downward spiral at this point. And best case scenario is it would take decades to get back out. Not saying it can't be done, but I am saying it looks pretty unlikely. Anyway, I broke my crystal ball. So I don't know, but it doesn't look very likely. Anyway, I am out of here. I appreciate you all coming. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it again. Hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.